Hello there and welcome back to the Sanctum, the place where I told you all my tricks will pull them off live right in front of you. And sorry if I'm laughing, but I barely managed to get the live stream going correctly before the whole show began. But it's working now. And as you can hear, somebody decided to come back after dubiously deserved, may I say, holidays. I'm talking about the Stunning and Brave, and it gotta be something and beautiful Terramini, who might be saying hello to the girls in the voice.
Hello,
now that
voice.
he came back
Yes.
from the depths of his, wherever he went.
Yeah, I could say that I missed you, but
You didn't.
I did. No, I didn't miss you. Yeah, I missed you here. So here I'm back, excited to see where this mix is taking us today, because I think we're quite advanced into it, aren't we?
Well, we're mostly done. This is very, very much the end. I even think that this and the next one would be the last sessions for this track, because we're very much close to the end. Based on what? Well, based on my own, on the sheer might of, no, it's based on the fact that we're very much finished. It's now gonna be more about the detail work, hitting the spots of the different sections of the track that might be a little bit off right after we push the track to its final form. So usually, whenever I hit this stage in any mix, I will go back to certain elements just to tinker with it a little bit, very, very, very little. Why? Because now that the song is working correctly, as a whole, the entirety of the orchestration is actually very much put together. Some of the moves that I did at the beginning, for example, are no longer viable in that particular state of affairs. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yes.
Because obviously you did those moves while the track was at a very premature stage, and now that we are basically finished in that regard, it's time for us to look back in time and check if whatever we did before makes sense. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to Mixbus 11. In front of us, we have the project that we're gonna use to finish off this bad boy. I'm gonna press play as usual from the very beginning, so we can actually address and give our commentary on top of what we heard. Okay, so here we go. Not that bad. Robbie, how is it going? Good to have you here. What do you think?
Hey, Robbie, how's it going? Missed you.
Look at that. Somebody looks a little bit, well, a little bit too much of a tan. What I say? After spending a week having fun in sun. Meanwhile, me in the freaking dungeon, keeping the show running wherever.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, of course. But wherever. What do you think?
Actually, it's sounding better than I remembered.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's sounding very good. And now is nice that the entirety of the song delivers. You don't have those kind of fluctuations where maybe the beginning works, the later stages doesn't. The whole thing is delivering quite a lot of punch, quite a lot of energy. I think everything is there. I think when it comes to things that kind of jumped out to me, I felt that the evil voice section is still not cutting through as much as ideal, but maybe it's because of the whole thing that it's going to be addressed of making that automation for the evil voice to go up and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel that section is still not
fully fleshed out.
Okay. The vocals specifically. And outside of that, let me see. I felt as well that given the instrumentation at the end, that's a little bit busier. The synths, I think it's the Moog, the one that's a little bit more screechy, is falling a little bit behind in that section. But I think it's also a job for automation because it's sounding good throughout the entirety of the song. But since the song gets busier, that section, it kind of falls behind a little bit.
Okay.
No, honestly, outside of that, it's just what you mentioned with the claps.
The claps are super dry, drier than certain other regions of a certain politician. No, but they're super dry. One, well, because I probably forgot because it barely cuts through. It's cutting through the mix because it's this particular sound. So let's fix that right away because it truly pisses me off.
It's very dry.
It's dry, way too dry. Drier than my vermouth. Okay, let's check this out. Is this freaking clap? Let me find it here. There it is. It sounds like this. Has the ambience, right? But it's way too short. It's way too ambiency, but it's not adding the. It's not filling the gap. Pay attention to the positioning and how how this actual sound correlates with the rest of the mix. Boring, right? Like lackluster.
Because it's a very ambiency section of the song as well.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily out of the sound of the clap itself, but given the context, it makes it feel kind of off. So let's begin. I'm gonna apply a synth. I'm gonna be sending it to probably whole. Let's make it. Well, I'm divided. I don't know if I would like to use whole or what the plate. But let's see. I'm gonna check it out with the sound of the whole first. Here we go.
Okay.
Yep. I had to drop the volume a little bit because it was a little bit too loud. Am I fully happy? Not yet. I'm gonna give it a try to the plate. Why sound? The texture, okay? I'm gonna keep the volume where it is.
Cool.
Which one do you prefer?
Well, I think the plate is doing wonders, but both.
Yeah, I was also just. How if we use both?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
Okay.
not both?
Yeah, so I'm gonna use the plate as a reference, but I'm gonna duck it. I'm gonna remove it a little bit just to give way for the hole to be added. Here we go. Nice.
No.
And even the release tail is gonna give us that fall off or that particular drop at the end of this section that will allow for the next section to kick in. Listen to it. Yeah, I can work with, I can live with that. Now I'm gonna give you my impressions of the mix as it is right now. First thing, the cymbals are screechy as all balls, don't you think?
Didn't jump to me, be very honest.
You truly need to clean off your ears.
I
No,
might.
for real. They are kind of screechy, but by a tiny bit. The main clap, the snare sound is a little bit too screechy as well, a little bit too high endy. But why? Because we pushed the rest correctly. Now we have carved the holes that we needed to carve in order to get the rest of the mix to cut through correctly. And all of a sudden, those extra pushes are becoming a little bit too apparent. Okay? So I'm gonna begin from there. Secondly, I also noticed that you're correct when it comes to the micro pitch, the Moog, but the stereo effect, the micro pitch, is a little bit too loud, a little bit too distracting, particularly at the beginning, because the issue is that I realized that most of the track, balance-wise, volume-wise, was mixed in the VCO section, obviously because it's the loudest part. But now that we got a very much stable mix for the entirety of the track or across the entirety of the track, we have points in which is a little bit too much by mini margins. The same applies to the toms. Stereo toms are way too loud. These guys over here, let me show you. Where are they? Here they are. Look. Pay attention to this. Super loud.
Yeah.
But if we go to this section where all hell gets loose, they sit correctly, right?
And it was the section that you used to find the balance.
Exactly. So this is calling for automation. Good news is that even though I like to do automation a little bit more further down the line, this is the kind of stuff that I can do right now. Why? Because it's very annoying. So let's do it. There are two ways to do it right now. Look, let me make sure that it's visible to you. There it is. Look. We got the only sweet spot for the positioning of the toms right now is here, this section here, okay? Starting from marker number 6. Why? Because that's where everything gets mixed together. It even vibes, right?
Yeah.
The issue is that it's only working from here onwards. Over here, even in this marker, it's distracting. Get me? It's a little bit too loud. The difference and the problem is that we got two different layers of loudness. This section here should be lower in volume than here, but this section here should be lower in volume when compared to this one.
Yeah,
Why?
because
It's
less
busy.
going on. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's begin with this one. I'm gonna keep this guy here as my referencing point. Usually I would do it on the board, but in this case, since I know exactly what I want, I will do it with my mouse. Okay? And we will test until we get the proper result. So I'm gonna begin. We're gonna go here, right click, automation, and I'm gonna go for fader. Thank you. Here it is. And let me make sure that it's turned on. Automation, yes it is. Here we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my markers. Let me make sure to make it more ambiguous, so everybody can see, and also especially me because it's way too far from my my area of. And let's make an automation point. I think I'm gonna do it here, and another drop here, and another one here. Ish. Yeah. Ish. Whatever. You get it. And I'm gonna make this guy all the way here. Let's try it. Pay attention to it. I think it's a little bit too much, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it back slightly. Let's see. I could go something in between. See how much the vocals are cutting through. And now the vocals feels loud.
Yeah.
No problem. That's part of the trick. Now, let's go to the next section. In here, this is going to be buried. Let's check it out. Definitely. So, let's fix it. How beautiful.
That's kind of loud.
Yeah. Okay, wherever. Let's do this. I'm gonna, if this is my point, my good one, I'm gonna get it somewhere there probably, because this is 13, 13.9. Let's say, because this is 11. So this might be better if we have it here at 12. Let's see.
Its grip undone. When harsh.
It's working correctly with the percussion. Let me zoom in a little bit more so I can be a little bit more precise. So I like it, but it's something a little bit louder would be better. So, let's try that out.
The veil may fall. Its grip undone.
Okay, I think it's working, but let's see how it goes in.
And cast aside the blackened veil. On the blackened veil, it blinds the day.
That works.
Badass, liked it.
Yep.
Good. So we can feel free or devoid of guilt. I hate this with all my heart. Yeah, it's so annoying. Whatever, I'm not gonna deal with that right now. Okay, good. And also, pro tip: whenever you get automation done on Mixbus, this thing is gonna set itself to play. If it set itself to play, see what happens. Pay attention to my fader here and also the fader over here. Look at this. It didn't open the promo. Let me open it. Pro.
So many pro things.
Yes, here is. Look at this. Okay, this guy here. Look, mom, doesn't work. See? And if I press play, it's gonna bring back the fader in its right position. Why does that happen? Because you turn on automation. It's the only though that I know of that does this. Counterintuitive. I don't like it. Mixbus, whenever you watch this, please change that. That's awful. That's stupid. I don't like it. Because it goes against my muscle memory. Because, if, for example, if I want to do an extra automation pass and I want to address it, I got to make sure that I first set it to a different mode here, touch or whatever, so I can do it again. Yeah, you can make the argument, yes, that happens to every other DAW as well. Of course, yeah, of course it does. The issue is this. How about if I want to test a potential positioning before I commit to an automation pass? Mm-hmm. On Logic, for example, even though I might have an automation run, or I might have already the lane and the line designed and written on top of my pass, I can still play around with the fader.
Yep.
Just to see why the track's playing. And as soon as I stop the performance, the playback, it's going to set back and it's going to be controlled by the automation lane. Just a little bit of commentary on it. Now that we got that out of the way.
You didn't still set to play?
It is, because I'm not going to mess around with it.
Okay.
It's now reading the automation, okay? So, let's take a look at the different section of the track, because I want to address now the kind of annoying cymbals. They're a bit too loud, not too loud, they are properly loud, but they are a little bit too harsh, a little bit too bright sounding. So the solution is easy. We're going to go for the let me show you the edge, so you can actually see we're going to be working with the filters here, okay? I'm going to be working with the high pass filter. And also, look at that. We haven't addressed the sound. They are very good sounding.
Yeah, they are indeed.
I don't see the need of messing around with them, but I'm going to be using the filter. That's a fact. Low pass filter, this bad boy, okay? So we're gonna cut some of the harshness out. Here we go. Way better, right?
Yeah.
Smoother, less in your face, and even fits better in the mix. And if you notice that the volume kind of dropped while I was cutting, you are correct, it dropped. But why? Because I'm cutting the high end or the highest frequencies of that particular sound. And it dropped the volume because this is a sampled hi-hat, or even possibly it's just created by using white noise. By filtering it out or cutting out, of course, you start to remove a good chunk of the sound. And since it has nothing else going on for it, you kill it off. Okay?
Yeah.
But you could tell the difference now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
Now let's do the same on the cymbals here. I'm gonna once again apply a little bit of the happened to my cymbals. Okay. Here they are, dynamics. Thank you. We're gonna apply a little bit of that high pass, low pass filter. Here we go. Cutting. Pay attention to the tss, okay? I'm gonna solo it. It's kind of harsh. I'm gonna cut off a little bit just to see what the effect of the filter is. Can you hear the resonance? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is something going on. I'm gonna open up the fader a little bit more. That's a little bit better, but I don't like it. Now I'm gonna go for the EQ. And in here we're gonna be working with the mid-highs. So we're gonna be attacking this area. I'm gonna boost the living stuff out of this guy, and then we're gonna do the old sweeparoo. That's kinda harsh, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna back it off. Now I'm gonna remove the solo and let's cut to taste. I think I'm gonna cut somewhere. Let's see. I overdid it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to the filter. I think I am cutting too much now with the filter. After I realize, or after. The use of the, what's the name of this guy? The band that I cut, the filter feels a bit too much. And Robbie, you're suggesting, could you not use a gate on it? Could you elaborate more? Because I don't know what would the gate could be used for. I don't get you. I'm gonna first open up the filter while Robbie comes back to us. That worked, but let me find sweet spot again.
Much watch. Cut.
Cutting, yes. Look,
Yep.
the idea here is that we want to preserve the sparkliness of the crash, but kind of making it smoother sounding. You see that my moves now are extremely conservative. I don't even want to bother with going a little bit too gung-ho on anything. But in this case, the detail, the silkiness, and this kind of, how can I put it, felt like, for lack of a better term, the texture. Could you describe it with better wording?
Like the smoothness of the sound.
You get me, right? You get
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm trying to do with this.
Yeah, because not even because they are high-endy symbols, so it's not about making them darker because that would be like in the production
Killing it
cycle.
off.
But now it's about making them smoother because they are a little bit too piercy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is tiny. It's just this difference that makes or breaks our record. So let's do it again. I think I'm gonna go for something here. Let's see if it works. Okay, now I get you, Robin. Yes, not a bad idea using it as what's the name of it? Like DS or some sort. Yes, good idea, Robin. Let's try it. Here we got the gate, and we're gonna be using. If I think the same way as you're thinking, is using the sidechain frequency, right? So let's find the proper spot. Since this is very high end, I don't know if this goes high enough, but maybe here. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, but it's already working, Robbie. But I want to test what you're suggesting because it could be a little bit more natural rather than similar to the dynamic EQ stuff. Let's try it. And I'm gonna go for fast attack, fast release, and let's see.
I think it was a bit too aggressive, but I can see this working well.
Yeah, and as part of the sound, because it's kind of, I liked what I heard.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna increase the release tail of the gate. I'm gonna do it here with the board because it makes me happier. Let me see. This is the attack ratio. No, this is just the compressor. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna increase the release here. I can do it with the board. Let's do it. Here we go. Let's see. A little lower. And yes, I'm gonna give a try to the depth because yes, Robbie here is saying, and he's correct. Through the use of the depth control over here, you can control the noise floor through the use of the no, sorry, I swapped the order of the comments, but you get it. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna reduce it just to see if we get that a little bit less. Yes, look at that. We were kind of similar thinking. Let's see. I'm gonna try something minus 20 something. Yeah, my guesstimate was that. Let's see.
I think it's still too aggressive.
It's kind of fast, right?
Yeah. Then the threshold too.
Maybe even the threshold could be a little bit higher, a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Let's see. Almost.
We're getting that, and I like it.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. Just once again, minute and fine detailed work. Here we go. A little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to increase the release.
Yeah, because killing off the sustain a
Yeah,
little bit.
but we just
too
need
much.
a little bit more of the sustain, not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to open up a little bit more threshold just to see. Almost there. I'm going to try it the other way around. That was good.
That was it.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for shouting, but yeah, whenever I get something like that, I actually get excited because yes, you feel the music finally vibing. Yeah, that's a good trick on vocals, Robbie. Yeah, on the reverb. Oh yeah, sounds like a good idea. I mind that you use it as in some form of gated approach, right? Like controlling the dynamics of the reverb through the use of the gate. Okay, like it. Happy, joy. Good. Let's see. Another think about it. Maybe the sidechain did nothing because I think we didn't. It's not affecting. It's not like what you do with a compressor, for example. That you get the low cut. I think this is the one that is dependent on a signal coming in. No worries. It worked. Yeah, but just to clarify, okay? Because when I looked at it, like, wait a second, we're not sidechaining anything. Good. Okay. Good. Now the freaking claps. They are also kind of too much when it comes to the high end. Listen to them. Super bright. Again, it's not a clap, it's a snare. But it's way too bright, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. So what to do? In this case, I think I'm going to work with my EQs. So here we go. I think I'm gonna go to the other section of the mixing desk so you can see everything. Yes, over here. We're gonna be dealing now with first. Let's try the filter, low pass filter, because I want to make this snare a little bit more bottom endy, and also removing a little bit of the sizzliness of it. Here we go. Pay attention to the sound. Solo first, so we can get an idea what's going on. Very good, right?
Yep.
These filters are just fantastic. And I think you mentioned, Robbie, that they are selling now the filters as a 500 series module, right?
It's awesome.
No, I'm gonna get them, man. These are way too good. Now let's see in the mix. I'm gonna open up once again, and we're gonna cut to taste, but now based on the understanding of what it's doing to the sound of the snare. Here we go. Tasteful, right? So tasty. Very good. Those filters alone you can mix a record with the filters, be frank. Don't you think?
Yeah, they're that good.
They're that good. Okay, now let's do a little bit of EQ into the sound again. This is I'm gonna solo it again just for you to have an idea. And again, one thing. I always solo when I solo stuff during the live streams is because I want you to get used to the sound, so you can have a clear idea of what's is gonna be happening after I begin moving my fingers around, right? But I never recommend you, or if I put it in a different way, I always recommend you to mix in the context of the mix, especially when you're EQing, because what do you do with an EQ? Thiago, could you remind us what an EQ does? Now that you're an expert in this.
Am I? I never knew I was.
Well,
But if you say so, an EQ basically controls volume, but based on frequencies.
yes. Do you mean amplitude?
Amplitude, that's what I meant.
Yeah, with
exactly.
that. No, actually, yeah, he's
Loudness.
correct. But in proper in lamer term, in much more pedestrian level terms, if I put it that way, yeah, it controls the output or the intensity of a signal based on the frequency selected. Okay, with that in mind, when you EQ, you can bring up or take down the levels of your signal, but attacking a particular frequency range. If you do it without the rest of the context of the mix, you can overdo it or underdo it. Or simply put, you can do stupid moves that go nowhere, and as soon as you think you got a very good sounding snare, for example, in this case, and then you remove the solo, and it sounds like shit. Why? Because you never did it in the context of the mix. You mix it by itself. So just a pro tip. Now, let's listen to it. What do I want to do with this guy? Let's add a little bit of low end. So in this case, I'm going to use the low frequency band over here. These guys. And the plan is going to be maybe, no, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to do the old Suiparu. How was that?
Yeah.
That was excellent, right?
Yeah, very good.
Again, this is the reason why you should mix on Mixbus. It's simply fantastic. And look, we're mostly using the stuff that comes in the console. It's because the console itself is fantastic. Okay, now let's add definition. In this case, I'm going to be using maybe this band, the high band. So I'm going to be working maybe, sorry, that wasn't the right one, maybe somewhere there, 1,000 something, I don't care. I don't give a damn. Why? Because I'm going to use my ears. And I'm going to be bringing this up just to add a little bit of the extra. Get me? Mm-hmm. Pay attention to that section of the snare. Could you hear the difference? God damn it!
Yeah, it wasn't even that subtle.
No. This was.
Yeah.
And look, let me show you how little I pushed. Look. But why? Again, guesstimate, not necessarily. Is ear training. Okay. I put the frequency. I attack that particular section. Why? First and foremost, I know the sound of these EQs. Secondly, experience has shown me that particular section of the sound will usually be found somewhere around that part. And you saw how little I pushed. Like, I don't know, let's say, according to Mixbus, 1.7 dBs. And the difference was insane.
Yeah.
So good. Now, let's see if we can carve a little bit of holes in the mid-range especially in the low mids, just to make it a little bit more, a little bit keeping, adding a little bit of extra space for the low end, the beefiness of the snare to cut through. Make sense? Let's see. Here we go. That is ugly, right?
Yeah.
But could you see the difference between the good section that is very close to it? Because if when I went a little bit lower in the frequency range,
Yeah.
we started to get to a point in which actually this band, even though it's overdone, was adding weight, right?
The thing that I think you're operating very close to the core of the sound of the snare there. So
Exactly.
a little bit ahead.
That's
a little
why
bit.
I pushed it a little bit more, much more on the brighter side of things. So let's see. I'm gonna push it back, center stage, bringing back the rest of the mix, and then we're gonna cut to taste. And what Thiago says is very correct. We're very close to the good stuff, so we gotta be very careful. I'm gonna cut very little, and then maybe push my filter or this band a little bit higher in frequency. So here we go. Wow, right?
Yeah. No, very good.
That was good. And let me show you once again the little moves we did. That was a bit much more barbaric because we're pushing a little bit more. We're cutting 2.8. So
Yeah, it's a considerable cut.
It's much more considerable. But again, don't be afraid of when mixing, especially when you're working with equalizers that are based on hardware. Push it. Because I know that it looks horrible when you got a digital EQ, like, I don't know, split EQ, and you got this crazy ass curve that looks like, no, I mean, I'm clearly doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But in this case, this kind of equalizer is designed in a way that allows you to actually, or is expecting you to go nuts at times. Okay, so don't be afraid. We're not doing that in this particular mix, at least in this sound. But now that we cut and made the sound of the snare even better, I feel that I can actually push a little bit more my low band, okay? The first one we worked on, okay? Pay attention to it in the context again. Now pay attention to, okay? Let's see if we can make it a little bit more deeper sounding. I don't know. It could work, it could not. What do you think?
I like it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Because it's a little bit heftier, right?
Yeah, but it's still snappy.
It's snappy. Now, I think I can actually improve the sound of it a little bit more by either applying compression, but the sound is already kind of compressed, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it sounds compressed. So I would like to add a little of extra distortion to it, just a tiny bit. And we're already working with the distortion of the console. I like it. I'm gonna keep it on, but I want a little bit more. So let's try a plugin. In this case, I'm gonna go for.
Or have a dirty bus.
Wow, we do, right? Let me try this first, okay?
Okay.
Because I would like to use the what's the name of the creator? It's Sound Toys and Radiator. No, little. What's the name of the guy, man?
You know
David
the
Locke,
thing.
obviously. Here it is. Damn,
That's big.
that's big. It's because they released an update that now allows you to change the size of the plugins that I welcomed.
Yeah, freaking finally.
Finally, okay, Level Lock, not to be confused with the Level Lock. And as the name implies, it's a fan favorite of mine, and it's a compressor that makes everything uglier. So first, I'm gonna back off the gain, the mix, and I'm gonna maybe add a little bit of crunch, and then I'm gonna crush it, and those are the actual controls.
The darkness.
And maybe add darkness. And we're gonna add it to taste. Let's see how it first, but first and foremost, let me make sure that I don't have it after fader, okay? That would be very dumb. Okay, here we go. Pressing play and adding Devil Lock. Can you hear that?
The kind of motion.
Yeah, it's part of the sample.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that audible.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said while I was messing around with the plugin, a little bit is goes places, right?
Yeah.
We
yeah.
got a way better mix just by having it there. This is the right amount in my opinion. And see how little I push it to 2. Let's see if we can take it a little bit closer to the sun, and see what happens. Right? I'm soloing it just for you to have an idea of what kind of effect this guy is having. I don't know about you, but that sounds better.
That sounds cool. Let's see how it goes in
Yes,
context.
in context. Here we go. No. Look, this is a prime example of what I just said. Never mix in solo, because in solo it sounded badass, right?
Yeah.
But in the context, like, the
Yeah,
hell?
it doesn't work.
No, it was too much, man. So I'm gonna back it off. We were happy at 2.
Yeah.
Like it.
Like it. Yeah.
Very, very much. Okay, good. So now that we finally got rid of the screechiness of the track that was truly breaking my balls, to be very honest, now I feel much more relaxed. I feel less stressed out and also a little bit less nervous. Now let me go back to my analog notes. And here, look, I already smoothed out my claps, my cymbals, and now let's address the whole thing with the micro pitch that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the sound in question happens somewhere very close to this area. Somewhere there. And it's gonna be this guy over here. Look. Let me make sure that I have it here. Look, it's this sound. Fantastic, love it and everything, right? But see what happens when the track becomes busier. They distract me.
Mm-hmm.
I pay attention to them
Yeah.
rather than the music. Get me?
Yeah. They're very cutting sounds. So
Because they are awesome.
jump. Yeah.
They are very good sounding. I love the tone of those bad boys.
Yeah.
The thing is that as they are right now, they're a little bit too loud. How much? Basically, almost nothing. But they are loud enough for my attention to be driven towards them rather than enjoying the music. You see what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
Because this is this is the best piece of advice that I can give you for real. The devil is in the details 100%. This particular bad decision involves a lot of this kind of minute and precise detailed work. What am I gonna do? Fader time. I'm gonna drop the micro pitch sound with all the pain in my heart because I love this tone. And we're gonna be bringing it back to taste. And again, before we have done this like 80,000 times, but we're gonna do it an 80,001 more time. Why? Because now we're gonna do it in the context of the final version of the mix, or 98% of the mix being finished. Here we go. Way better, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Good. And again, we are not going to be doing that amount of crazy moves today because I have said it several times, but we are finishing this bad boy off, okay? So, now I want to take a look at the strings later on. Look at that. That was very, very, well, time sensitive. Now let's see. Let's check the strings. Where the hell are the strings? Here they are. Damn. Sorry. Strings. Finally. Let's see. Just because I want to make sure that it's working right now, okay? Here we go. Sounds like that.
On the black and valley lines that steals the colors, blazes the way. In its embrace we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark, I win.
What do you think?
Of the strings,
Yes.
I think they could do with a little bit more wetness.
Wetness?
Yeah. I think they're kind of not ultra dry, but I think,
They have no reverb.
well, so
Yet.
that's it.
Look, not a bad take, but I wanted to draw your attention to the strings because now that we dock or control and smooth out the output of the sound of the micropitch, the delay effect, the beta sound, as a whole throughout the entirety of the track, these guys can be pushed a little bit further. Get me?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
did you notice that we lost a little bit of volume in this sound? No, right?
No.
Because it's no longer distracting you. That's the point. Now, let's see. I will push first because I like his idea, adding a little bit of reverb to this bad boy. Through the use of the fader first, I'm going to find a spot for it that it's a little bit louder, but not by that much, and then adding a little bit of wetness because I think that's going to fill the gap that we're missing. Emotional speaking, of course. Here we go.
On the black and valley lines the day, steals the colors, blazes the way. In its embrace we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark, a whisper sings of broken chains and mended wings. A spark defined.
I like it where it is now, and I probably think I brought it back to where it began, where we began, but wherever. No worries. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now, in this case, let's add the plate. White texture, okay? The tone of the plate. And I'm gonna be adding or sending my strings. And for those of you who haven't been here before, let me show you what the parameters are of my plate. Here is a rocking super plate, and it's super. Look, this is big.
Yeah, super indeed.
Super in the super plate by Sound Toys. I think I overcompensated the things that in this newest version of the Sound Toys suite, you can actually save preset size for your plugins. I think
okay.
I went a little bit too high.
You might.
Yes, kind of ridiculous. Okay, but we're using that.
But that's a cool feature.
It is excellent, and it's starting to become a norm
Good.
because, well, yeah, we're using bigger monitors, bigger screens. What's wrong with my mouse? Bigger screens and or not necessarily bigger, but for example, you can see this from your end over there on YouTube that my screen is an ultra wide, so the format is super elongated to the sides, and sometimes that kind of resolution makes plugins look very, very unreadable from a distance. That's why they're doing it. Makes total sense. So we were doing the strings. Let me make sure that I find them. Here they are. Let's send something to the plate reverb. Some of the strings. Here we go. And I think I'm gonna go copious. If only do it where the freaking thing plays.
A spark defies. On the black and valley lines the day, steals the colors, blazes
Very good.
That was beautiful. Don't you think?
No, like it, love it.
Very musical, very much adding the sense of urgency, intensity. Because why did we like it? Because it makes us feel things, right?
Yeah.
It's
And
not.
it feels like it belongs now as well.
It belongs. It's no longer like a cool sound shoved down our throats. Just cause reasons. Now it's working. Excellent. I'm happy. Look at this.
You sound happy.
I look happy. So, yeah. So, let's see. What else to do? Because we're almost done. At least for today. Because I want to make sure that I cover all of these details before we confirm or compare the different. What's the name? What am I saying? The different takes. Because we. Can you remove the overlays, please? Briefly, Tego?
Yes.
We ran out of save states. We already went through everything.
But you can
I will
override.
I will have to override shit.
Yeah, they're the ones perhaps.
Yeah, maybe the gain stage, the first one. Because I'm gonna use Bad Boy, because that was the last state from last week. As usual, the names.
Aptly named.
Aptly names, of course. Aptly named everything. Yes. Look, I think we are basically speaking. We already automated the toms. That was one of my issues. Addressed the hi-hats, the cymbals, smoothing out the claps and the snares, done. What else? Address the vocal balance. That's something that I want to do as well. Because some sections are louder than others, vocals-wise. The issues that I think that's going to be left for automation. Because let me just address that briefly. Look, the vocals, they begin here, okay? But I'm going to show you how they sound at the end, okay? Why? Very important. Oh, that's why. Okay. I think they are sitting very nicely at the end of the track. But just at the end.
The blackened veil.
Smoothly, right?
Yeah.
Sitting where they should.
Yeah, fits right.
But now check them here.
Beneath the sky, where the shadows creep.
Super loud. Super loud. That's automation. But this is the kind of automation that I will do with the faders because I need to ride it. Even though the vocals are very, very much steady sounding and the compression is very, very well done, I need to do it with the vocal performance. This is not something that I would do with the mouse. Making the case for you to get a controller. Look, not affiliated to SSL or Harrison Mixbus, which basically speaking are the same company now, but huge proponents of the use of their tools. I love them. You have seen me rocking Mixbus through the use of the UFA the entirety of the show. But you might be saying, dude, but I don't have the means to, right now, I don't have the means to buy the big UFA. No worry. You can begin with just one fader. Get the UF1. It has the same set of effects. I don't have it here. It doesn't fit. That's why I don't have it here. I own it, but I don't have a space here. More on that later. I will explain it myself once certain things are done. But you'll see. It's going to be a good surprise. But we're coming back to this. The UF1 is much more affordable, and it's a master controller that can be used to automate, for example, any track, plus automating the final master bus, which is very important as well. And also, you have control over this fader, these knobs that could be used to move and change parameters on plugins or DOS. Very much recommended, for real. But now, I will do that next week. Whispers, yeah, that was my issue as well. Look, those freaking whispers. What was G-Boss?
You're asking me?
What was that, man?
There's no region.
I don't know what happened to it. And we did all sorts of stuff. I'll deal with that later. Let's check. I'm going to check this. these whispers. Okay, reverse vocals. Now I'm pissed off. I have Mixbus. Let's see.
All the black valley finds the day, steals the colors.
That one. I'm gonna apply a little bit of low pass filter. Sorry, because it's a little bit too. How can I put it? A little bit too screechy, a little bit too harsh. So I'm gonna low pass it. Here we go. Okay, now I like what is doing the filter, but now, as you can hear, has plenty of low end. I'm gonna go to the other side so we can actually work on the EQ. And look, no worries, I have the files. I just simply drop it back and that's it. Regarding the guy that is missing right now, I'm gonna go for. Let me play the EQ first. I'm gonna look for. Already look at that. My muscle memory already taking me to that area. I'm gonna go for the EQ and I'm gonna look for a particularly annoying frequency. I think my guesstimate is somewhere 300 something hertz. Let's see. It could be even lower. Okay. Better, right?
Yeah, might be able to even cut more.
Yeah, but let me push it because I'm gonna open up the filter a little bit more. In context.
All the black valley finds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace, we lose our sight.
Like it? I'm gonna increase the trim so we can push it a little bit louder. And by doing so, of course, I gotta back the fader down.
All the black valley finds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace, we lose us.
Like it? But how about this? Let me check the spectrum. Yes, Queen, we can do it.
What are you talking about?
How about if we put a little bit of Panman? So it oscillates phrase
Okay.
by phrase.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yes, Queen. So I'm gonna insert it, plug in. Once again, Sound Toys. I'm gonna go for Panman. Here we go, Panman. A gigantic plugin.
Alakablam!
Here it is. You know, it's stupidly big floor. I'm gonna change it. I kinda overdid it. So this bad boy is fantastic because you can actually create a sequence, or it's gonna move your signal to one side or the other of the stereo spectrum based on a rate. And would you believe that you can control it through an LFO? What kind of LFO, you might be asking? In my, let's try rhythm step. See what's gonna happen. Here we go.
All the black valley finds the day, steals the colors, paves the
Wasn't that awesome?
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Each section of the phrase was spread across the three sections. The thing is that I don't want anything to happen in the center because it's gonna get in the way. So I'm gonna switch this to be 4 steps. Let's see how it fares now. Excellent. It's panning and leaving the mono open. Here we go.
All the black valley finds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace, we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark,
What do you think?
No, it's very good.
That
I
was
like it.
fun, right? And it's
Yeah.
adding, I'm looking at it as a rhythmical element. I'm even thinking this might be too much. But what if we add a little bit of delay?
Do it!
Okay. Given the fact that you made a convincing argument, I will. Okay, let's try it first. What I'm trying to do with this delay thing, I'm gonna play delay to the effect, to the vocals in reverse, but after the panning. So the reverb is gonna be like one side or the other.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a mess, but hopefully a beautiful mess.
No, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Let's see. I'm gonna go for something not funky, a reverb, and I'm gonna insert the delay. How daring, right? Let's see. Something that is not ridiculous. Let's try. Damn it. Yes, exactly. Okay, let me see. I want a delay that is controllable. Yeah, let's go for something very, very much relaxed, not that complex, not that intricate, and not that how can I put it? Less mud for the pigs. Let's go for ripple delay. This is totally not complex at all.
No, look at that.
Look, of course not.
So minimalistic.
Yeah, it's so minimalistic. It does very little. Okay. This is a best of a delay. I couldn't find a much more complex, deep, and stupid delay. Unit, can you remove the overlay, please? Not the overlays, the chat. Thank you. And also, Robbie here saying, I'm glad you're doing these, but the background vocals in my demo part of the rhythm, it's intricate to the vocals. Yes, they are. Let me see, because I think I can push them in a way that we can get both working. Because I could simply make a duplicate of this, having the one panning and having one in the center, keeping track to the sound of the... sticking to the idea, the main idea. Let's see. Here we go. First, what I'm going to do. Don't know. Let's go for badass, stupid, and complex. Repeat. Let's create a pattern. Let's say something like this. Eighth bar, 8 notes, like this, somewhere like this. And let's see. It's going to be stupidly ridiculous, okay? And I'm going to turn on the gate. Yes, quiz, please.
Good thing you went for a simple delay.
I did. Thank God, right?
Yeah.
And let me make sure that is controlled by stick to the tempo. Here we go. I don't know if it's gonna work.
On its own, sounds pretty cool.
So good, right?
Yeah.
Let me filter out a little bit of the high end because I don't want the repetitions to be noticeable. Like it.
It feels a bit long. I like what it's doing, but
yeah, it's way too long. It's
Yeah.
way too long. That's a fact. Let me go back to this, and maybe. Let me see. Yes, let's dark a little bit the wetness. I think that could work. Let's see. In context.
All the black and valley blinds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark, a whisper sings, a broken
like it a lot. What do you think?
I like it as well. I love what the delay is doing to the sound. I just feel that you're being very conservative with the position of the sound in the mix. Like I know that it's not supposed to be at the forefront. It's a very backgroundy sound, but I think it's not as present as I would like.
The thing is that I gotta be conservative in the sense of it, or due to the fact that I want it to be distracting. It's a special effect.
Yeah.
It's a very cool one, and the thing is that we might be falling in love with it out of the sound, right? The cool sound.
Yeah. Because it is, especially now, it's a very cool sound.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't know how much to put through, and also I want to stick to what Robbie envisioned when he tracked this well, when he cut these tracks. I want to see how much can I push before I start to deviate too much from the original vision, because we're still getting the mono input of the sound. The thing is that we're now spreading it, and why? Because I want these reverse vocals to be audible as well, and if they are hitting underneath the sound of the main vocals, they are kind of lost. So this is me trying to figure out how to push this reverse vocal a little bit much forward fronting. I'm gonna press play again. I'm gonna push the fader and make it a little bit louder. Look, Rob is also pushing it. Okay, pushing it is. But I feel the same. I'm just asking. I just wanted to explain myself. Okay, here we go.
All the black of valley blinds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark, a whisper sings of broken chains and mended wings. A spark defies the shadow's gale.
I'm gonna play compression. I'm gonna first give it a try to the compressor, the built-in, because I'm even thinking on applying a dual a stereo compressor. Not, what's the name of this? Dual mono, rather than compressing the entire channel strip, because for whatever reason I feel that these reverse vocals are more audible on this side. Okay. What was this? Because I played everything, man, even Oxford EQ. What's that, man?
You mentioned D there.
Yeah, there is plenty of stuff, man. Now I'm kinda concerned. Well, I will fix that, but where? Because these might make me do moves that are wrong. Whatever. I'm gonna apply the compressor. We have it inserted here. Let's check that out. Again, I'm gonna go ballistics, but I don't wanna go. That's the thing. I don't know if I want. Let's try it. Because look, this is the issue. Being a reversed signal, what I want to control is just the momentary, the transient at the beginning. It's the one that cuts through way too much at times. So I'm gonna go super fast on both. And let's have a kind of high ratio, but not that much. Let's see.
All the black of valley blinds the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark,
This side is super distracting. It's too loud. Why? There is a little bit of a much more of an open space on the left than it is on the right now in the mix. That's why you can hear it much more clearly coming out of the left speaker. What a conundrum. The solution. Let me see. Because I don't know if we will have the chance to fix this up right now, because we're basically done. But let me try to see. I will apply a compressor. I need a dual mono compressor. Because on Logic you can turn any compressor into dual mono, but I don't know if I can do it here. Let's go for 1176. Yeah, because this is kind of that kind of moment. So, where is it? No, you know what? This is actually good. I'm gonna use the Mac. Where is it? The plugin alliance, Mac.
The EQ?
No, Mac the compressor. Is the Magnum? No. Or is it the Magnum? Yeah, I think it's the Magnum. Here is Magnum. Damn! There is. And let me see. Steer width, no. I want to turn it into solo S because that can go MS. Let me see if I can turn this guy. No. Oh shit. L and oh yeah, well I will. Yes, I actually can control. Perfect. I just simply have to unlink the controls. Let me see. Where do I unlink? Yes, but I don't want. Here is. So now they're in the excellent. Perfect. This is gonna solve the issue. So let's go for stick to 4 threshold because right now I'm gonna hit the left without affecting the right. Okay. Here we go. Let's see.
All the black and veil lights the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace, we lose our sight.
Better. But let me. Yeah, the attack is as it is good. Maybe the ratio is a little bit too much. Then the game attenuation, implementation, no. Pick, good. Soft limit, maybe. And I'm gonna add a little bit of air because it has the air band. Don't you love that?
But just to the left?
Right now. And you know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, we'll have to apply it by foot on both. And let's push it maybe 4. Why? I know the sound. Okay, here we go.
All the black and veil lights the day, steals the colors, paves the way. In its embrace, we lose our sight, dancing blind through endless nights. But in the dark, a whisper sings of broken chains and mended wings. A spark defies the shadow's gale to tear apart the blackened veil. The blackened veil. The blackened veil.
Better,
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah.
Because you see, the point of this is just to make sure that it's audible,
Yeah.
full on audible, but in a way that is not distracting. Because it's the same principle that we had to discuss before regarding the arpeggiated badass delay thing with the micro pitch. Great sound. The issue is that it was too much.
Yeah.
Too much of a good thing is always a bad thing. And in this case, it's very similar. Am I fully convinced? Not yet, but this took us very much to the sweet spot.
Yeah, but I like where that's their vocal is hitting now. I think
Yeah.
you can hear it is perhaps not perfect, but it's not distracting, and it can be heard. It's making a presence.
I agree.
It's a very cool sound.
Yes. So I'm gonna save this state because I truly need to make sure that what happened to the sound. I don't know which one. That guy, what did it do? Being very frank. And I wanna try because it even has all sort of stuff, man. Let me check because probably when I was messing around with something, I incorrectly pressed delete. I don't think so, but it could be. I'm gonna save this as the on the very first save state. Save store. Yes or right?
So you click on no.
Oh, I clicked on no. Yeah. Yes, and in here is gonna be called. Now this is mix one. We are finally getting to the point in which we're actually getting mixes. Okay, this is pre-automation, of course. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this, if I click on this guy, we're coming back to the starting point of the day mix. And if I go to the new one, the one I just created, it's gonna take us there. Now let me see if by out of no, it's
No,
not
it's
there.
not there.
No, it's not there. Whatever. We're gonna listen from the top, okay? Pay attention to all of these details because we actually changed many things. Here we go.
Beneath the sky, where the shadows creep, a whispered curse, where secrets sleep. The moon is closed, its light defiled. The blackened veil consumes the wild. Through the hollow winds, the echoes call. A fragile world begins to fall. The stars are dim, their stories pale. Lost behind the blackened veil. We're 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 lost behind the blackened veil. The veil may fall, its grip undone. When hearts unite to greet the sun,
What do you think?
Pretty good. Very, very good. The changes, even though you mentioned that today's changes would be a little bit more on the detailed, more not that
In your face.
in your face side. Actually, the difference is very big. Especially, I think the changes done to the high end of the hi hats, the
Yeah.
snare, because even when you first did the switch in the of the scenes,
was
it
kinda-
felt super harsh when you went back to the previous version.
Ear piercing, right?
Yeah.
It was very annoying. It was kind of. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It was very much sizzling. I would use that wording. Yeah, very much pleased, and also I like how the snare fits now in the mix. It feels beefier. It's no longer harsh as well. Also has plenty of character. Is no longer just there to do the lame as upbeat, and love it very much. Happy with it. Problems. Of course, the missing file. I gotta address that, but I'm gonna do that off screen. Also, I'm gonna the vocals. We need to automate them, but like it's going out of fashion because there are points on which it's not even the sound of the vocals or the loudness of the vocals. It's phrases, man, and even certain words having a particular more pronounced whatever that makes them feel not be louder, if that makes sense.
But they stick out, yeah.
Yes, they stick out a little bit more than they should, and that's once again the reason why the argument for the surface is very important. Next week we're gonna be automating the crap out of this bad boy, because I feel that besides the reverse whisper thing, which I like a lot. But what do you think about that now that we listen to it in the full context?
I liked it, and actually, since on the most part you were working on that sound on top of a different section of the song.
Yeah.
The section that comes prior to it is where I found it cooler because
It was, right?
Yeah, because it was a little bit more spaced out. You could hear a little bit more of it without it being distracting because it was a less busy section.
Agreed.
It was quite cool. You could hear the effect, not super in your face, but you could hear it.
Yeah.
And it sounds very nice.
Yeah, my only issue is that at the end it's a little bit still kind of not as controlled as I would like it to be, because I want it to be there loud enough for it to be quite audible, but since we're moving it around and it also has the repetitions and blah 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 blah, it could be distracting. And I can hear it here. I can imagine that on headphones is even more pronounced, because you got, and here we got the room, and the room is a huge contributor to the sound of what we hear, of course, in here. But when you got cans on, the isolation makes many more things much more present and much more in your face. It's a different experience. I don't consider it to be a superior. It's not as good as the speakers for obvious reasons, because the speakers have a much more pronounced low end range, and also the room and the acoustics. But headphones are fantastic. I love them and like them a lot, and they have a place because they make everything a little bit more personal. We have to keep that in mind. Now here, honest, Robbie saying, "Be honest, Adam. Is this the most difficult mix you have done in this live stream?" Yes. It's. I usually try to avoid going for something this complex, going live, because of how many moving parts there are, and also since I have to explain myself while doing the moves, it makes the thought process even more draining or complicated, if that makes sense to you. This is a dance mix. This is one of those songs that actually requires. I wouldn't do this live normally, because you see, we're on week 11, and we're still gonna have to go down for week 12, and I think week 12 should be the last one. I hope. Depends on how I feel that day, because this is way too many moving parts. Is very dense, and once we finish this off, we could even have a proper live stream dedicated just to compare different versions of the mix and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna print the different gain stages, or I'm gonna use the. We can even have that. We can have that, and I can explain the moves later.
Yeah.
on that particular live stream. I think that would be very, very much entertaining. Not entertaining, but a good exposition.
Yeah, kind of tracing back and kind of going
Explaining
over
the moves. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Robbie, this is since the beginning I knew that this was going to be kind of messy. Not because of the difficulty of the sounds, because they were very much tailored correctly while the production was going, but the complexity and the difficulty comes from the amount of moving parts, and how important it is for each of those parts to have actually some form of making that. Since all of those sounds are meaningful, it's difficult for you to decide what goes where and how much of each. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because you try to give everything the right positioning in the mix. You want to because this is a purpose life. Damn it, you get me. Don't mix. Words are hard today, but there is a purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't say the other word. And even though it's not that big of a channel count, I have worked on much more easier mixes. We're dealing with maybe like 30 something tracks. The biggest challenge is that all of these tracks have a meaning. They're not there out of let's see if it fits in the mix. Or what bad the thing is that many of them were layered at the beginning. For example, when producing the track, don't know if you remember that we used some contact instruments that actually stuck several things. So I was already mixing this thing in mind back then. Here, Robbie is saying something I do often is I print out the track and then look at the waveform to see what's happening to it, what's standing out. Much good has been done. A few small points will be sorted. Yes, agreed. I never do it that way, Robbie. Being frank, because I don't know why. But I try to avoid looking at my screen as much as I can. Probably because I have to be. I'm stranded in this dungeon for basically 30 of my days. I try to avoid using visual mediums as much as I can. Of course, I even showed you my decibel system that I always have in front of me. Right now, I didn't turn it on. Why? Because I'm an idiot. And I forgot to charge up the iPad. The iPad, is fully dead. But it's not a bad idea, because even for someone, probably it's because I'm not that much of a visual learner, if that makes sense to you. Because it's not a bad idea. It makes sense, because you can even, just by looking at waveforms, you can have an idea, wait a second, I kind of overdid this. Or why is this section so loud? Or what's that spike? Oh, it's my stupid automation. I wanted to make my voice soar at that very point. Lame. Fail. Yeah. But it might be me just not being that much of a visual learner. Now, next stage. I'm gonna apply plenty of automation next week. Don't know if I would be able to finish off the entirety of the mix during that session, because since there's plenty of sections to be automated, an automation being a tedious process and very repetitive in nature, I'm gonna most of my time try to explain to you the reasoning, give some first runs of automation, and I will finish off the automation off screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who have done automation, especially to a professional level, working on a track as dense as this, it's super boring, because every move you make, I'll be watching you, but also every move has to be done with precision, and that precision comes from actually feeling the flow of the music. It's kind of esoteric in that sense. So it's not as easy as just mouse and that's it. No, but I will explain my reasoning behind each of those moves. So that's what I'm going to do that day. Okay. So with that being said, thanks for joining, thanks for watching, and stick around, because this is, for those of you who are new to this, we do this every week. Sometimes we produce music, sometimes we mix music, sometimes we do stuff on Mixbus, sometimes on Bitwig, wherever I feel like it. And so stick around, because I already have an idea for the next project we're going to be working on in this channel, but I'm going to let you know once we reach that stage. But with that being said, thanks for joining. And as usual, as every single time I meet you, I got to remind you that you should never let anybody tell you what to dream about. And remember that we will see you when we see you.